Alright, welcome back, winners. As you guys remember last time, we did go ahead and survive the ambush and falling on our asses. We'll go ahead and pick this up real quick. For the Raven pilot, Sergeant Brown. So now, Gears 5 has done something that I think is gonna catch a lot of people off guard, and that's truly keep up with the continuity of the Gears universe. The New Ephirian 20th Anniversary Edition. An excerpt from the New Ephirian exclusive interview with First Minister Jin, Making a Nation. The New Ephirian First Minister, could you share with us your thoughts on the legacy of the First Minister Stroud? What was her importance to you? First Minister Jin, I owe her everything to First Minister Stroud. How could it be otherwise? She was an extraordinary mentor and a dear friend. New Ephirian, yet you both had such different upbringings. She hailed from a very prominent family, and you, of course. Yes, I grew up amongst the stranded. There are members of my family that I will never meet because they were incinerated during the hammer strikes, so in many ways I spent my childhood detesting the cog. However, somebody helped me overcome those feelings. First Minister Stroud. Yes, you see, I first met her shortly after the war. She was a gear then. My family and I were living in complete squalor. It shames to remember this, but I was unkind to her when she approached. Despite it, she gave me rations and invited my family to a fledgling encampment called New Ephira. This is a difficult question, but First Minister, do you feel any responsibility for her death? First Minister Stroud died for a cause she and I believed in deeply. Okay, so, as I said, it kept up with the continuity. Now, if you read the books, I said this before, we of course all know that Marcus Phoenix and Anya Stroud, one, got married, but two, were definitely lovers and in relations during the original set, in the original 3 games. And at one point in the books, I believe it was Jacinto's Remnants, but I could be wrong. It could have been Astro Fields, the first book. Bernie comments on the two of them stating how they can never have kids. So when JD came in, everyone was like, oh, Anya can't be the...
Well, up's farther than they hoped.
Then we better move it.
The mother can't be Anya because she can't have kids, and we know that. So now we know, hey, the reason that they have so many of the, maternity wards isn't necessarily because it's like, oh, have babies. They are literally there to...
We got a swarm at our location.
I'll deploy TV units to take it out. Just get the Carmine.
We'll go. Right after we're done here.
You know, they are just, they're actually there to... They're actually, using... They are using... I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to think and shoot at the same time and listen to the conversations here. They're using some sort of either artificial insemination or something in order to cause them to be able to have kids. And we don't necessarily know, I believe, why Anya couldn't have kids. However, with that being said, there's probably a health-related reason. So, yes, they got JD, and JD was born, but
Lizzie, Delta here. There's a swarm
could
back in
it
the
be
settlement.
that,
Keep your convoy away from it.
that, hey, she had kids to prove that it could be done and prove it could work, but at the end of the day, ultimately she either died in childbirth or shortly thereafter due to complications. It sounds like JD knew his mom, but I'm not 100% sure in what full capacity that would consist of. Satiros literature, the white ixum, it's the truth. There's resistance inside the founder communities today. We are speaking out. In the wake of Settlement 2 massacre, we have been led to complacency by hollow words and half-hearted concessions. We as citizens are in danger of losing sight of the reason we made our voices heard that day. Settlement 2 was founded on a promise. Its citizens would be granted the autonomy to fulfill the needs of their community and direct their own destinies. Today we remain unable to do either. And the crimes of those who butchered us remains unanswered. Effective Effectively an extension of New Afira, we are routinely directed to adopt and maintain stringent, ineffectual policies of the First Minister. Anything counter to New Afiran agenda is tantamount to sedition. This is the status quo, is unsustainable. I'll speak with you again soon. Get on the First Minister's desk ASAP. We need to find out where these are coming from. Okay. So, now, one of the things that I think they've done well in this game, the first game we established new characters, and I said I liked how you were partnered with Marcus Phoenix a lot, and then immediately, after that, he gets taken away for a little bit, so now we have to see, okay, we've introduced an old character with the new characters. Oh, Lizzie, I thought it was saying Dizzy, unless it's Dizzy's child, in which case that's going to be great. But what happens is, when you do that, you get to see, okay, this is Marcus, this is what Marcus thinks is going on, this is how he's kind of directing his squad.
They're coming in!
Hey, stand down, Private. We're gears.
Oh, shit, sorry, Lieutenant.
No harm, no foul. What are you doing here?
Lost our DBs and we got civilians holed up in here.
Lizzie, Delta requesting civilian pickup. Sector 8, apartment complex.
Copy that, Delta. I'll circle back.
Thanks for that, Lieutenant.
No problem, Private. Come on, Delta.
So, what it does really well, I think, is... That's where I can find a lot of those things. What that did was, it was like, okay, here's the old characters, and we're going to get that again here with Cole, where it's like, okay, we're going to have some of the classic, this is who we played as in the original games, these are the people that we knew and loved and came up with in the original fight.
Glad you showed up.
So they're going to bring in these new characters in comparison to the old ones, show how they have their own ideas, and show the growth that they're going to have by themselves in comparison, but not necessarily for it to be overshadowing of the new characters to the old characters, but give them all their own identities. Now, the other thing I want to talk about right here is Lieutenant Chitani. Reason I want to talk about Lieutenant Chitani is because he's a good soldier, and JD, our main character, is not. Now, I'll play JD kind of like a good soldier, but that doesn't mean he is a good one in nature.
Convoy's on the way.
He's an okay leader, and we really got a shot at this when we played the first mission, and he's like, we're going to go into this silo and set it off, and then Marcus makes the comment, like, no, that wasn't necessary, what you did was only as, like, a last resort, like, when you have nothing else left, and you can't do anything else. Like, that is when actual last resort is, and that's the only time you should ever do something like that. Settlement 2 Welcome Package. On behalf of the Coalition, it is my privilege to welcome you to Historic Settlement 2. I can assure you your lives within these walls will be both safe and fulfilling. Settlement 2 was one of the first new COG communities constructed outside the haven of New Afira. It stands testament to the enduring tenacity and remarkable strength of humankind, a story of which you and your family are now an inimitable part. Your intrepid settler's spirit helps make our coalition prosper. I wish you all the best in the adventures to come. Sincerely, First Minister Jin. Okay, so now the reason they have an exercise bike in here. The reason that I think that Chitani is such a better soldier is aside when we meet him, he's an asshole. You can be an asshole and still be a good soldier, so we're not going to mince that there. Like, he might be a douchebag this entire game, but that doesn't make him a bad soldier. I would equate it probably similar to the Colonel in the original 3 games, like just being,
Never mind, Control.
Oh god, she's cool.
I took care of it. DBs, we gotta secure this street.
God damn, she is so cool.
Lizzie! Oh, man, sister! You're crazy!
What can we do to help?
Just clear this street, Delta. Otherwise, we're stuck here.
All right, you heard her. Let's get to work.
Okay, so there's character design. Now, typically in these games, what we always get is you have your nameless COG soldiers there who are...
Phoenix, for the last goddamn time, I'm the ranking officer, which means I call in the reinforcements.
Yes, sir. I will fix it.
You have your nameless soldiers, and you got that kind of like Carmine feel where it's like, hi, we make jokes at your expense as a character, and we really don't take you seriously at all, and you're kind of a joke throwaway character who becomes a serious character in the end. But Lizzie there, she just looks badass on her own.
Not impressed.
Like, she's, you know, sitting here, comes in, smashes into a giant snatcher, stabs a grenade onto its head, fucking rolls out. Alright, I'll take that as an awesome character. So, as I was saying,
No one wrecks my trucks.
JD is a good character, and I think we're gonna get a lot out of him, especially when you look at him compared to Marcus, because Marcus in the first game, like, he made a lot of very safe decisions. It was based on, hey, this is what we need to accomplish, we're here to do a job, whereas JD falls into that thing that everyone else, or they tell you always in any sci-fi or any other, like, military aspect, is don't be a hero, don't try to save every, like, you know, don't go gunning for the Medal of Honor. Like, the Medal of Honor, no one should ever go gunning for that, because that means a lot of other serious issues, if that's what you're gonna be, like, going for. Some South Guardians.
Oh, do I then?
On the way.
But, instead, what we're getting here is JD, you know, running in and having, like, a lot of half-baked ideas, similar to that of...
Guardian, secure the street.
Similar to that of Baird, but not even as technically intelligent as Baird. Like, Baird's like, okay, here's a mission for us to overtake. If we can't do it, that's fine. It's just it's a trump card that we might need to use later on. It's anything that we can say of a similar nature.
Oh, shit! Zion! Alright, people! Here comes their MVP!
Footage of your defiant.
Now, JD instead, as I said earlier, was running in there and deciding, hey, this is the decision that we're going to make. You could see when they were talking about Kat. Kat's obviously showing signs of PTSD. They know that she hasn't been sleeping, and he's like, no, she'll be fine, it's okay. Which just shows, like, a severe lack of connection to his squad, to what's actually going on in the area, and to the other characters that are going to be at, like, a pivotal point, and people that he even calls friends. So that's just one of those things where it's like Marcus immediately noticed that, and JD took it as, oh no, he just cares. He shows that he cares about you, whereas he's never cared about me. And Kate rightfully calls him out on it, is like, hey, you're an asshole douchebag. That's not even a fair statement to make. Don't blame me for this.
Street's clear.
Which is